If you're watching this video, you're on YouTube, and if you're on YouTube and you like NFTs, then you've definitely come across John Carlo. Now, John Carlo has 105,000 subscribers on YouTube, and on Twitter, he has 75,000 followers. Now, what he's done is he's released a project. Now, the project is called Midnight Labs. Now, he's got a thread here that you can kind of read through, but essentially what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to break down what Midnight Labs is, how you can kind of get into it, and why I think this is a very good play by John Carlo, and I think it's actually going to benefit and help out the NFT space, unlike 99% of everything. Now, John Carlo, this guy, he is loved by everyone. No one ever has a bad word to say about him. He is so true to his word. He's so authentic. He sticks to his guns. He knows exactly what he wants to do. He stands up for people, new people that want to get into the space. Now, me and all of the people that I know, we all look up to John Carlo. John Carlo has this way of articulating his journey through the space and trying to teach people what he knows, but in a very sort of concise way and a way that actually resonates. There's a tone of voice that he's got, and there's a weight that he kind of has when he speaks. And the fact that he's actually doing something, and he's not doing something in the way that you think it is, it shows you that he's not trying to kind of extract liquidity from the market. He's actually trying to give to it. Now, this will make sense when I kind of break down Midnight Labs. So Midnight Labs, you might think, okay, cool, what is it going to be? Is it going to be a project that he's launching at 1 ETH at a 2,000 supply? No, it's essentially going to be somewhat of a gated closed community that starts off small and just grows bigger and bigger, and it's going to be a free token that's kind of sort of sent out to people that do contribute. So the idea is he's essentially doing a free mint free kind of project that's based off the tokenization of the community, kind of adding to and sort of contributing and adding benefits to the community. Now, what this means is it means that the people that are in there that are contributing, that are able to kind of bring in quality people, that are able to kind of bring in opportunities, that are able to kind of contribute to the conversation, build tutorials, things like that, they are going to be rewarded with a token, which they can then use to then access more of the community. And then to get into the Discord, you then need to fill out an application. So you can actually kind of go through and fill out the application. And the idea behind what Midnight Labs is, so what John Carlo wants this to be is he wants this to be the community in Web3. He's not just kind of riding a hype train or what current meta is working. He actually wants to build this out into something great and something big. So John Carlo has been in communities before. He's been in things like Bored Ape Yacht Club. He's been in a bunch of them. He's seen exactly how these communities work. Now, what he's done is he's noticed a gap, and he's noticed where kind of projects aren't kind of pushing the boundaries and extending it. And what he wants to do is he wants to kind of borrow some of the things that they work, but he wants to actually kind of just ignore what is currently, that everyone's currently doing, not what will work now, but almost what people need. And I really like this. And it's the fact that he's not trying to extract liquidity. He's trying to actually build somewhat of a great community, which then also will build a big brand, which will then work later. Now, on the website, you've got this word tokenize. The reason that he wants to kind of tokenize the community is what this means is it means that you'll be given tokens for when you actually contribute. And if you aren't contributing, you're not kind of gaining tokens. It kind of gamifies the system of building up your kind of reputation in a token form, which means that you then have a currency to then use, which you could then kind of sell on something like OpenSea, but then it also means that you can then kind of hold off if you wanted to kind of chill back a little bit. It's just meant to kind of show the reward of people that contribute. So if people do kind of sit back and just essentially ghost, they're not going to be kind of getting tokens. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to be grinding in there and kind of just going like, hey, sit upright, kind of drink water, doing all that kind of stuff. The idea is it's like meaningful contributions will kind of get points, which will then be able to be tokenized, which you can then essentially monetize later. Now, look, when it comes down to a Discord, it's going to be a Discord that you get full access to with the token. So that's how the token kind of works. Now, there is going to be 69 initial members, and every month they're going to be kind of taking in applications and adding another 30. So it's a very slow onboarding of people, almost one a day when you kind of think about it, and they want to cap it at around around essentially 2,000, but there will be 12% kept for the team over a 2-year period. So the idea is this over time will kind of build up into something. Now, I know what you're kind of saying, hey, how does this kind of work longer term? What is the kind of business model? What's the monetary aspect? And Giancarlo's kind of broken down 3 different kind of playbooks that you can kind of have. The first is going down what like Proof have done, where you build a really great community that's sort of tight. You could then go down and do what you would kind of be the PFP project. You could then kind of do a metaverse play. You could kind of do these plays because you've got a community that's tight and you've got some people that want to get into it, and kind of expanding that to get people within that ecosystem. Now, the second playbook that he has is essentially this kind of incubator / launch pad. The idea that they can take on some projects and almost be like the collective. So Midnight Labs can almost be like the collective, and then underneath they can then have these projects that they can kind of ensure that they kind of build up and launch appropriately. So that can be another way to kind of reward and kind of fund the project longer term. Now, the third kind of playbook that Giancarlo has kind of laid out is the fact that it could almost be taking what the current meta is and then running a project or a product in a particular sense that currently fits that meta. So the idea is that like right now, the whole whitelist marketplace meta is quite high and a lot of projects are incorporating that. And the idea that having some people that are on the forefront of the NFT space know what's kind of popping up and what's working, and then being able to kind of create a product that fits a demand that is needed, and then be able to kind of ship that out and then monetize that. So those are 3 different kind of playbooks that Giancarlo kind of has that he could run up to kind of expand this out longer term. But in that short term period, what he kind of wants to do is kind of do what a lot of projects are currently doing. Things like whitelist giveaways, things like events, alpha, tools, all of that good stuff that you would expect in a really good alpha group. So that's the kind of play that it is. So offer insane value for the people in the beginning, get people to contribute, people to kind of build within this little small ecosystem, which then will drive demand and attention for the project, which means you can then do something bigger and grander later on, because there will be this demand for people to actually kind of rush into that project. Now, why is Midnight Labs a great play by Giancarlo? The reason that I think this is a great play by Giancarlo is the fact that it's not trying to run a project in the way that everyone else runs a project, which is kind of generate something, say a PFP, a kind of some models, a metaverse play, a game, something like that, and then try to extract liquidity before even providing value. The idea here, and this just shows the kind of person that Giancarlo is and how he cares about the space, he wants to build something first, provide so much value that people then want to get in and be able to kind of contribute, which then makes it stronger and stronger. So you can then essentially make the big play later on and do the Moonbirds type play, or launch what could be the Invisible Friends, or kind of run up and build a platform or an ecosystem that the space needs. So Giancarlo is going to have some very smart people in there. He's going to have some very talented people. He's going to have some, and hopefully people like me, some people that are able to kind of communicate in different styles and ways that can then sort of articulate what is happening at the forefront of the NFT space to first off keep people safe, educate them, but also be that beacon for when we do have this big sort of flow from Web 2 to Web 3, when we have the sort of the millions and hundreds of millions of people coming through the door, and being able to be the voice and actually kind of provide the value adding products that actually kind of help people out. Because in Giancarlo's mind, this isn't a 2 or 3 month project. This is a long project. The idea that he's not going to have all the spots filled for a few years, it's that kind of sense that he's kind of thinking. He's thinking longer term. He has seen everything kind of run through from the different sort of PFP metas and the different utility metas. He's seen these come through before, and he kind of knows that you need to pivot, you need to be able to adapt. And trying to lock a project into one particular thing or one particular way isn't going to help, but what makes a great project are the people that are inside of it that are willing to contribute to actually push that forward. So when it comes to Midnight Labs, this is something that I think you should jump in. You should definitely follow them on Twitter. You should definitely jump into the Discord. This is something that you should look out for, and if you aren't subbed to Giancarlo, you definitely should. And if you're not subbed to me, you definitely should. But the idea is you should stay across this, because for me, where I see Midnight Labs right now is this is what Proof is now, but I see this in sort of 6 months time, a year's time. I see this being one of the big pillars and mainstays in terms of the group that people want to be in, the sort of circle of people that people look up to, and that almost becomes the alpha thought leader itself. Because the one thing, and that John Carlo actually said this in his town hall, is the fact that YouTube is an extension of Google, and it is the biggest sort of search engine, and people are coming into the space, and the first face that they're usually seeing is someone like John Carlo, and he's putting out quality information. And the idea is that's where I feel like this will go, because at the moment, sort of crypto Twitter and YouTube don't really kind of cross, but the fact is YouTube is such a big search engine and a big base, and I know that people are going to want to come in. They're going to be going to Google, they're going to be going to YouTube to search for these answers, and he's going to be the first face that comes into it. So I can see the brand that he's building with Midnight Labs and what he's actually doing, and his mouthpiece that is his YouTube channel, being very powerful in moving this forward. So if anything, the play here is being across it, so you know that when some spots come up, when you're able to kind of buy a token off the secondary market, snapping it up, knowing that this isn't a bet on a project, this is a bet on John Carlo. So that is my take on what I think Midnight Labs is, why I think Midnight Labs has great potential, and why I think you should kind of put it on your radar. So full disclosure, I actually did reach out and DM John Carlo, and I was like, hey, would you like to kind of have a talking piece to put into it? And this is just another thing about why he's very smart and very considered when it comes down to every decision he makes. He was like, yeah, cool, I'll kind of do a talking piece, because I wanted him to kind of say some of his words, but he actually wanted to kind of back out, because he said he knows the perception of sort of him being inserted into a video with it coming from his words is going to seem very shilly, and he doesn't want Midnight Labs to come off as shilly. He wants this to be very organic. He wants people to find out about Midnight Labs by other people and people that are in the know. He doesn't want to kind of run up and do a typical PR run or a promo run. So this video, I wanted to put this together because I'm a big fan of him, and like legitimately, I kind of almost have little fangirl moments when we kind of DM or engage or interact, because I look up to him, and I just kind of want to throw that out there, the fact that he's so considered in how he moves and how perceptions can, like how everything can be perceived, and he wants to ensure that people don't take it the wrong way. And I think that is why I'm even more bullish on Midnight Labs, even sort of before he's kind of launched it out and run it up as a whole. So hopefully you found value in this video. If you did, please consider hitting up that subscribe button, or while you're down there, also hit up the like button. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.